All right, hour number two, San Diego Sports Leader. This is the Mighty 1090. I am Darren Smith. What a win. We started our show talking about it. San Diego State 20-17 over Stanford at the stadium on Saturday night. What a win it was, watching the fans storm the field, and he was right there smack dab in the middle of it. You know what we said on this program? We said that I thought that Christian Chapman, that he needed to have the game of his career. Well, 21 completions, 29 attempts, both career highs, 187 yards through the air, the 8-yard touchdown to David Wells. What a night for Christian Chapman, who joins us on the Mighty 1090. Christian, congratulations. This is Darren Smith. Thank you very much for the time.
Of course, anytime.
I appreciate it, man. How are we feeling today? I mean, it's been a little less than 48 hours, but what's it like being in your shoes today?
And it's kind of finally settling in, but, I knew that was a big win for the city, a big win for the program. And like I was saying, it's something I'm never going to forget. And, it's going to be in Aztec history for forever.
What was it like being on the field? There are so many questions I have, but let me just start with the end of the game. When the final seconds tick off the clock and the fans, did you know that the fans were planning to storm the field? Did you have any sense of that whatsoever? Because they were showing it on television, which is how I watched the game. But they were showing the fans starting to get closer and closer to the guardrails here. How about on the field? Did you guys have any idea that was coming?
I had no idea. I was so focused in the game and finishing that last drive and then seeing what our defense was going to cap it off with. That's mainly what my focus was. And, when I just saw all the fans started storming the field and all my friends and family was on there, it was crazy.
What is that like? We've seen that a handful of times at Viejas Arena for basketball. Maybe you've even built in the building for a couple of them. But what is that moment like when you're down there on the field and you just start seeing this rush of humanity wearing black shirts and black pants and black hats?
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. And, I mean, I took so many photos. I got lifted up. I got so many alumni coming up to me telling me biggest win in school history. They're so happy. And, it's a great thing to stay home and, bring something like that to the community.
Christian Chapman joining us on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. 16-3 as a starter. It feels like big game after big game, conference championship games, bowl games, back-to-back wins against Pac-12 opponents. Christian, just give us a sense, what was it like waiting all day? It's a late start, 7:30, a lot of people watching college football all afternoon. What was it like, just the level of anticipation? What did you do all day getting set to go and play Stanford at 7:30 on Saturday night?
I mean, I approached it kind of like any other game. I kind of just rested all day. Of course, I have like a coach give us playbook, some tips. I always go over those, looked over some things. And that whole week I was pretty prepared. I had a good idea what they were going to do, what they were going to bring at us. And, the preparation was still pretty similar to what I usually do. So I didn't change anything up too much.
When you say you approach it like any other game, I've heard this a million times sitting where I sit, Christian. Help me out here. That wasn't any other game, though, was it? How do you do that?
I mean, I think your preparation needs to be the same, kind of go after every game, like with the same mentality, the same effort and all that. But at the end of the day, that win was huge. I mean, one of the biggest wins for the program. So you approach it and you prepare for it like it's another game and do everything that you do consistently. But at the end of the day, after it's all said and done, I mean, that one was huge. So, I mean, it's a great feeling.
I think that's easier said than done, though, right? I mean, take us back the night before here, where you have to somehow go to sleep, right? Like you have to somehow be like, all right, I got to get a good night's sleep here. I mean, how do you even put yourself to sleep the night before the game, knowing how big it was? I mean, I can't imagine that you didn't have butterflies, that you weren't anxious, you weren't excited, all of that.
Yeah, there was so much anticipation going into that game. I mean, one of my best friends, he plays linebacker for them, Jordan Perez, and then knowing that Micah and his brother are going to line up across from each other, there's just so much going into the game. They're ranked to come to our hometown. We knew that probably a big crowd was going to show up and what it would mean to San Diego. So all that anticipation and all that, all the things going into that game, it's, you're excited. You got a lot of butterflies going into it, but, you can't get too distracted and got to go at it, though.
Yeah, Christian Chapman joining us on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090, ranked 22nd and 25th in the coaches poll and in the Associated Press poll. How does that sound again, by the way, to be back in the top 25?
It feels good. I kind of, and the team kind of believes that number doesn't mean nothing till it's there at the end of the season. And last year we were ranked at one point, and I believe the next game we took a loss. So, we're just trying to keep that number there, and we're going to keep going 1 week at a time. This week it's Air Force, and if we keep doing our job 1 week at a time, we're hoping we're up there with the best of the best at the end of the season.
Christian, what did you think your role would be? I mentioned it's a career high in attempts, it's a career high in completions, and you throw a touchdown there at the end of the game to win it 187 yards. I think most importantly, if you're just going to compare the two quarterbacks, though I know you quarterbacks hate when we do this, that the difference was 3 turnovers on one side, no turnovers from San Diego State. But what were you expecting? I mean, were you expecting to play this kind of role in this game against Stanford? Because a lot of people just thought it would be running backs going up and down the field all night.
We knew in the game plan, they're going to try to stop the run game, and I was going to have a chance to open up a little bit, try to take some shots. They did well taking those deep shots away from us. So what we did is we started leaning on the quick game, getting a little quick slant, little quick outs, and it was working well for us. We were completing some first downs. We had some big ones on our last drive, hit Micah for a few, and yeah, it was looking good. They just called my number. I was able to throw a lot more than I usually do. I believe we had 90 snaps that game, the most I've had since we've been here. We had the time of possession of the ball. That's because our defense did so well stopping their offense. But yeah, they just called my number, and I just executed. 90
plays in 41 minutes for those that love the time of possession stat. Are you aware of that? Like, are you saying during the game, like late third quarter, fourth quarter, like, my gosh, we've been on the field a long time? Like, or is that something you look back and you go, yeah, that makes sense. It sort of felt like we were on the field a lot during that one.
I had no idea. After the game, they told me that. I was like, really? We really had the ball for that long? And yeah, looking back on the game, I can see that, we did have it for a while because our defense was just, again, 3 and out. We kept getting the ball back, and they were playing their hearts out. And 90 snaps, that's all for the defense.
How'd you feel after that one? They got to you a handful of times. Again, being out there on the field as much as you were. I think it was 6 quarterback sacks. Do you feel that afterwards, or maybe the next day, or maybe not at all, depending on the quality of that win?
Oh, I'm still feeling it. Yeah, they got to me a little bit. Got some bumps and bruises, but for a physical game like that, we knew it was going to be physical, and we all expected to be a little bit sore after it. And I'm feeling it, but it's a good pain.
They're good, right? Let's not take anything away from Stanford. Sometimes you hear fans, they start chanting overrated, et cetera. But I think you guys beat a really good, well-coached team on Saturday night. Did it feel that way as you were going through it? What did you think of them preparing for them and then actually facing them on the field on Saturday?
Definitely. That was one of the most solid teams I've ever played. They were so well coached. The players were good. That defense was so physical. It was a hard-fought game. Hats off to them. They brought it to us, and everyone needs to know we're the real deal. Just because we're not a Power 5 school doesn't mean much. We can hang with the big dogs, and that game was a fight. They're still a good program. They still got a long season to go, and I think they're still going to be successful.
Christian Chapman, San Diego State quarterback, joining us on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. The Aztecs will be on the road this weekend. They'll get their first Mountain West Conference game at Air Force. We'll talk about that in a second with Christian. All right, so I think I have my chronology correct here. Rashad Penny goes for 11 yards on the final drive here, what proved to be the game-winning drive. San Diego State wins 20-17 against Stanford. And I think I have the chronology right here. There's a timeout called with a little less than 4 minutes to go. We're in commercial break as we're watching on television. Social media is telling us that the lights went out at Qualcomm Stadium, or whatever it's called these days, Sdsu Stadium. Tell us what happened from your perspective. What happened? What were you thinking? What was going on?
I believe we're on the side, and then all of a sudden the lights went out. And first thing I was thinking, I was like, did a fan get to the power grid? Power shut off the power? What happened? But it was crazy. And then something I'm never going to forget is all the fans in the stadium turned on their lights on their phones, and they just started chanting, "I believe that we will win," super loud, and got us all hyped. When you start talking like, this is the drive, man. This is where we can leave our mark. This is it. So it got us really going. The fans were into that game all game. So, they really pumped us up.
Yeah, did you have you thought maybe a fan got to the game and turned out the lights? It was so weird that it happened during a timeout because, social media starts telling us that the lights are out. Those of us that are watching on television. And then it comes back and you're like, oh my gosh, what in the world happened here? What was that delay like for you guys?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was long, about 15, 20 minutes. So we were sitting there on the field. We were trying to stay warm. I was throwing some balls. We were stretching, and the fans were literally the whole time were going crazy. They kept chanting. Music was playing. It was awesome. And yeah, we were just talking. We got together like this is it. Guys were stepping up, like talking, leading each other. Like I was saying, that was the drive, and that kind of those lights going off is kind of like I was telling them, it's calm before the storm when we really got together and put our what we had to do, man. And yeah, that was the drive, and I mean it was crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
Did it help you guys at all? I mean, listen, they both sides had to deal with it, and nobody's saying that you guys aren't the better team. This isn't one of those like Baltimore Ravens 49er situations where Ray Lewis claimed that there was some conspiracy here. But do you think in any way did it help you guys?
I mean, it only helped us to kind of like regroup, I guess, a little bit. I mean, there was already a timeout
Sure.
when it happened, and we were already huddled up talking about what we were going to do. But we kind of had a little more time to think, I guess, and probably game plan a little more. But I don't think it made a huge impact. But yeah.
Yeah, you guys were okay. I mean, you guys were doing all right. You were catching your breath on that. I have two questions about two different passes that you throw, and this is sort of where I said to myself, Christian, as I was watching the game, this starts to look like San Diego State's night. You had a pass to Rashad Penny where clearly you lost a little bit of the grip on the ball, and you were somehow able to just sort of volleyball it over to Rashad Penny. Yeah, what's the name of that pass? Do you have a name for that one yet? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was the one. I believe it was the first drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just for a check down. They covered our deep routes up, and I was looking for Rashad and trying to get to him. While I was kind of getting some pressure, getting some heat, and barely got it off to him. I didn't even see him catch it. I got hit to the ground, and I didn't even know what happened. I looked up and seen Rashad go for the first, and yeah, when I saw the film on it, the ball was just flying in the air. It could have looked a little scary, but yeah.
And then the game-winning touchdown to David Wells. Walk us through that play.
Yeah, great call. I think everyone in the stadium, even the Stanford defense, thought it was probably going to be a run to Penny. So, yeah, play action to him, roll out. David bangs down his guy on him, comes out. I just kind of popped it to him. He's a big dude, so anyone coming up to give him a hit, he's probably going to shake it or push them. So, as you've seen, David caught the ball, was able to break a tackle, and he reached for the goal line. Great play. And, yeah, everyone's going to remember that.
Fired up as he was. He came off the sideline, took off his helmet, clearly living in the moment. In a situation like that, does time slow down while the ball is in the air? Does it seem like it takes forever to get him, or does it go by in just the blink of an eye?
I feel like when I came around and threw it to him, it was pretty fast. But when I saw him get hit, and the slow motion of him kind of like reaching for that goal line, and actually not me looking over to the ref and waiting for it, did he give him a touchdown? Like, what was it? It took a while, and then seeing him put his hands up for the score and the fans going crazy, yeah, it was amazing.
Kristen Chapman on the Mighty 1090. So you guys are back in the top 25. You play your first conference game upcoming this week against Stanford. You're 3-0. I'll just ask, I suspect I know what the answer will be, but if I would have said to you, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that San Diego State would start its season 3-0, would that have surprised you?
Not at all. I mean, we expect this. I was talking to some of the guys after Stanford wins. We didn't go into the Stanford game thinking we were going to lose. We went in there to win that game. We really wanted that game, and we got it. We're 3-0, but we can't slow down. Our goal in the program is to win 22. We got our first conference game this week playing Air Force, who gave Michigan a run for their money. So we got big games ahead of us. So we just got to keep it rolling and can't get complacent.
Are you paying attention, Christian, as a college football fan now? I'm starting to look a little bit at the schedules of South Florida, of Memphis, some of the other Group of 5 schools. Are you allowing yourself to do that, to look around a little bit at the standings for some of the other conferences for the Group of 5 schools, or are you strictly just paying attention to the Mountain West and what the next task at hand is?
I watch around a little bit. I mean, when I have downtime in the hotel room before a game, I watch all the other games. So I was able to watch that Memphis game. I watched a couple of USF games this year, and yeah, I look around, but I don't look into depth. I mean, it's football. I'm still a fan at the end of the day, so yeah, I'm always watching.
Okay, because, that whole group of five stuff, highest ranked group of five champion, represents the New Year's Six. You're probably premature for you on that one, right? Leave that to the guys on the radio.
Yeah. I was doing my job, take it 1 week at a time. We keep winning. I think winning cures all. So at the end of the season, we'll see what they got to say.
Last season, you pointed this out a little bit earlier. Number 19, San Diego State lost on the road at South Alabama. Number 24, San Diego State lost on the road at Wyoming. For whatever reason, maybe it was just a bit fluky here. San Diego State last year lost both times that the program was ranked. I think you'd have to go back several decades to find the last time San Diego State football won as a ranked program here. Is there anything to that last year, or do you think that's just a fluke and circumstances of the schedule? And how do you use that and guard against that upcoming this week in the future?
There's going to be a target on our back. I mean, anytime you're ranked or any of that and you go to a place, I mean, that team that you're playing is going to go all out to get you. There's a target on your back. And just like Stanford coming here, we wanted that game to beat a team like that. So when we play a team, there's nothing to lose. They're going to come after us, going to bring everything. So, they want what you got, so you just got to protect it. Last year, I think we've probably got a little complacent when we got the rankings, but this year we learned from our lesson, and we're not going to let that happen again.
I love that. You like that role, huh? I would like that role. I would like being the team that you're going to get everybody's best effort, whether it's this week at Air Force or the following week back at the stadium against Northern Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. That's what you play the game for.
Hey, man, congrats. What did you do afterwards, by the way? Do you have any exciting times after the game on Saturday night?
Oh, I had so much family there. Got to reunite with a bunch of friends, family. Pretty much majority of all my Carlsbad friends. North County came down, saw the game, so I got to hang out with them. And I was getting blown up from family out of state. It was crazy. It was a good time. So it's something I'm never going to forget.
I would have just gone on social media the whole night and just looked at pictures of people storming the field and watching everybody's videos. That would have been me. That would have been my Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. Next morning, I was looking. I don't know that, though. Man, reliving it.
Hey, man, congrats. 3-0, back in the top 25 again. I think it's so important what you guys were able to do against UC Davis and against Stanford, taking nothing away from the win against Arizona State. But to do that at home, given everything that we've talked about in the past, Christian, with you being a San Diego kid and the Chargers leaving, I think that were really, really important games for you to go out and give the fans, maybe the ones who were just sampling San Diego State, to give them a reason to come back against Northern Illinois and Boise and Fresno and the rest of the home schedule. Congratulations to you, to Rocky, to the program. It was great to see on Saturday night, and we wish you success again in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.